How's it going, guys? Game-O-Holic here once again for another retro modern pickups. And you know how it goes. We get the box, we open it up, and we see what we picked up today. So first thing I want to get out of the way is I am a collector of vinyl. So I picked up two of these albums. One is Rush 2112 and Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. Now, I know a couple of select songs on these, but that's why I picked them up, is they were cheap. They were around $5 a piece, so I can't complain with that. But you guys want to see the good stuff, right? You guys want to see the games. So let's take a look. Okay, so I'm gonna put these two right in the box here. I'm gonna kind of mix this up a little bit. So one of the first games we got here is Mickey Mouse Fushigi no Daibukiden. Now, long story short, this is Mickey's Mousecapade on the Famicom. So the reason I picked this up is because I didn't realize what it was. I didn't realize that it was an Alice in Wonderland and Mickey Mouse crossover. So for $1, I'm not going to complain. And then for $3, we got a couple of games that you guys know very well. And one of them here is Donkey Kong 3. So this is, again, the Famicom version. I've been buying a lot of imports lately because, once again, you don't really need the translations if it's an arcade-style type game. So why go crazy and spend all kinds of money if this does the same thing? And I have means of playing it. Along with arcade games, let's talk about Mario Brothers, the original Mario Brothers on the Famicom. Now, this is the arcade game for those of you who might be confused and think that this is Super Mario Brothers. I can't imagine how you wouldn't know the difference, but I don't know who's watching this, so this is it, the one where you hit the turtles, the Koopa Troopas, and then you take the coin, etc., etc. Now with me, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about this huge stack that came in for around $5. Now, in this stack is a whole bunch of 3DS games. Now, some of them I don't know really a lot about, like these sports games, so Winning 11 2014, Winning 11 3D Soccer, Winning 11 2013. But there was a couple of hits that were in here. Run for Money. There was a couple of decent, these are all complete in box. That's Monster Hunter Cross and Monster Hunter 4G. Now, I was missing a bunch of these Monster Hunter games. I no longer am, considering these games are a dime a dozen, and I do have a copy of Monster Hunter 4 as well. So 4G and 4, along with X. We're cleaning up the collection real quick. And then this one, which is, I think, translate to Dragon Quest Monsters, Dragon Warrior Monsters 2. So I don't know a lot about this, but I am on a current process of trying to get all the Dragon Quest type games, so this adds to the list. And this one I don't know anything about. It's called Monster Strike. Maybe somebody can fill me in on this. Maybe we'll check it out in the future. Who knows? Now let's check out the next set of games. Now, this game is a 2D, 3D side-scroller for the Sega Saturn. And it is Pepper Chow's Adventure Clockwork Knight. Now, this one is really cool for the sheer fact of it's one of those 2D, 3D games you don't really need any translation for it. There is a story there, but you can kind of get the idea of what's going on just by playing it, of course. And I picked this up because I know this is one of those games that's a little harder to come by in English, so... And speaking of games that are much harder to come by in English, that is a complete in-box clock copy of Clock Tower 2. Now, If you know me, I have had Clock Tower 3 for the longest time, and I'm in the process of getting the first Clock Tower. I love the Clock Tower series, so coming across these are not easy. Of course, the Japanese import ones are a little bit easier to come by, and I have means of being able to translate these to play them, so this is going to be a fantastic import to play. Also adding to the collection, for the Super Famicom, Harvest Moon. Now, my first time actually coming across Harvest Moon was on the PlayStation. A friend of mine in my town used to play it all the time, and that's how I kind of picked up on it. And then when I got my Retron 5, I was like, hey, you know, I know one of the original ones came out on the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom. So I found the translation patch, and I will be playing this one very soon. So this was an outstanding pickup. This one was only around $3, and I forgot to mention that Clock Tower was only $5. So for the Sega Saturn, now we all know that this game, or at least one of these games, is about to be remastered on all platforms, and that is Lunar Silver Star Story. Now this is the import version, don't get too excited. But I do have means of playing this through translation patches. I don't know a lot about the Lunar series, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'll hit up Shinky JRPGs and ask him to fill me in on this. But this is a pretty outstanding story from what I know, and this is a good way to get into the game before the remaster comes out. Next on the list, again, also an import, but it is a game that has the English option and came out physical only in Japan, and that is Okami HD. Now, this one is pretty cool for the sheer fact is, I remember buying this a couple of years ago digitally on the marketplace, and this is before I knew about, you know, imports being released physically but only digitally in the States and vice versa. So that's why I picked this one up. When I heard that this had an English option, I said, what the fudge? Let's get it. So that's why I picked that one up. And another one that I picked up that, if you remember in a previous video, I got the first game from Yakuza, Legend of the Black Tiger. This is Legend of the Black Tiger 2. Now, this is a continuation of the first game. It looks absolutely outstanding. It's one of those, like, weird import $30, $35 games. I got this for like $2, so I cannot complain with the price. Even though it's missing the front cover, but you can kind of tell from here, Armored Core. Now, Armored Core is a fantastic, I would say, mech shooter on the PlayStation. This is one of the franchises I am recently trying to collect. Some of them you do need the English translation for, some you don't. This is one that really doesn't need it, which is why I picked it up. It was on what I like to call my hit list of games that I want to buy to play very soon. So for the PSP complete in box, we have Bomberman Land Portable. Now, these I knew nothing about. I am a fan of Bomberman, but I didn't know that they weren't on anything not Nintendo, to be completely honest. I mean, I know we had that piece of garbage Xbox 360 one that came out, but I thought literally that was it. I didn't realize that there was a whole strain of Bomberman games that made its way across multiple platforms, so this is pretty cool to actually own this. Second to last game we're going to talk about today, it's in the case, and it's a Famicom disc game. This is Patlabor, the Mobile Police. Now, to my knowledge, Patlabor, I could be wrong here, so don't quote me on this, was an anime that was made onto a Famicom disc game cartridge. Again, you don't really need the translation for it. It looks like a left to right side scroller. Can't really complain. And I picked it up for the cheap price of $3. Really can't complain about that. And I can't wait to try this one out. I'm still on the hunt, ladies and gentlemen, for a Famicom disk system as of this video. And last but not least, we finally got a game to try in that Wonder Swan. And what a heck of a game to try it out on. Final Fantasy, the very first one. Now, with Final Fantasy, I have recently, as of within the last year or two, played the Final Fantasy Remaster collection. And I have beaten, the first 4 Final Fantasies. I am currently stuck on 5, and I'm getting a little frustrated, so I either may skip over it and come back, or start right on 6. But this was a great game to pick up for the Wonder Swan, to actually try it out. I understand it's an all-Japanese console, so I'm going to have some difficulty, but it is what it is. I'll make it work. Thanks again, guys, for tuning into another Retro Modern Pickups. If you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe, share. Do your thing out there. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but enjoy yourselves while doing it. Enjoy watching this video. And as always, guys, remember the most important thing, stay retro.